Hey y'all, it's Crystal from Beautifully Broken, Crafts, Hauls, and more. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you choose to stick around, subscribe, and join our crazy Beautifully Broken family over here. I have finally got my editing done on these crafts I have been working on. So I am going to share those with you guys here shortly. I'm in my office, and this is the only part I'll ever show you guys anytime soon, which is just a shelf behind me in the calendar, because the rest is crazy looking, y'all. Anyhow, let's get into this, and I will catch you guys at the end. Talk soon. First up, we are doing this Snowman Wreath form from the Dollar Tree. And I am just going to take this white yarn that I also purchased from the Dollar Tree, and I am going to wrap the circle that is the body of the snowman and the head of the snowman with this yarn. This was a super easy project. It was just time consuming. So my suggestion is you guys pop on a movie that you've been wanting to watch and just have fun. Sorry for the noise in the background, you guys. It's emails coming through. Anyways, just wrap the body and the head of that snowman up. Once that was done, I took some black yarn also from the Dollar Tree, and I wrapped that around his top hat at the top of his head. And I just tied that in a knot on one side and then just started wrapping it downwards. And I did have to tack some of it here and there with hot glue just because I wanted to keep rolling up. So I did that in two sections just because of that top part being such a pain in the bum to get wrapped. I should have started at the bottom of the hat. Lesson learned. So if you guys are going to recreate this, I would suggest you guys start at the bottom of the hat. So once that hat was all covered with the black yarn, I took this white and red polka dot ribbon I had from Dollar General just to give his little hat some decor on it. So I wrapped it around the bottom part of his top hat and at the top part of his top hat. And then I embellished it. Oh, I also used this Dollar Tree fleece men's scarf. And I just cut off a strip of it from the fringe to about maybe halfway up the length of the scarf, because I'm going to glue that around his neck. And then I will add some greenery and a little bit of holly berries to his top hat as well once I get that scarf glued on. Well, I actually just tied it and then I glued the scarf to itself. Yeah, I just took some flocked fern. I think that's flocked fern. No, flocked pine maybe, and some berries that I had in my craft stash from the Dollar Tree, and glued it on his hat. And there he is, all completed. For DIY number 2, I took this blue snowflake sign I got from the Dollar Tree and one of their white little mini Christmas trees as well. I just took the base off of the bottom of this tree, fluffed up it, but made it fluffed only on the front and made the back of it flat. Then I'm going to use the super glue gel with some hot glue in between those drops of the super glue gel. And I'm gluing this directly onto that snowflake board. And once that glue is set up, I'm just going to fluff the branches up a little bit more. Oh, nope, I lied. I took some tumbling tower blocks also from the Dollar Tree to make like the tree skirt or tree base of this, using a combination of the super glue gel and hot glue as well to get this to stick to the board. So I went up 2 tower blocks high, and then I'll go across the front of it with 5 of them. And I do use my little triangle ruler thing, that L ruler, or I can't remember what the real name of it is, just to keep those blocks straight. And I continued on with the combination of super glue gel and hot glue to get those together. And then I placed it on the front there on top of those ones I had going upwards. Then I finished fluffing out these branches as best as I could because you know these trees are pretty skimpy. And then I pulled out an assortment of ornaments I had on hand along with some snowflake ornaments from the Dollar Tree because I actually glue the one in the top of this board. I took one snowflake ornament and glued it to the top of this board in the snowflake cutout, which you guys will see when it's finished. And then I just took some ornaments I've had in my stash for years in the colors blue, dark blue, and silver, and just arranged them on this tree and used hot glue to stick them up. And there it is. And I did use a little piece of scarf to tuck into the base of the. For DIY number 3, I'm taking this pizza pan from the Dollar Tree and one of the gnome signs from the Dollar Tree as well. And then I took these wood beads, but they're like half slices I got off Amazon, and I just hot glue them to the base of the back of the pizza pan as you see here. And I did mark off with my pencil where that gnome would land. That way I didn't use beads in those sections where nobody would see them. So I just went around this whole pan with those half wooden beads. I will say use hot glue versus the super glue gel. I only did 2 with the super glue gel and it just was taking forever to dry. So the hot glue was what worked better. Then I take this crimson color Waverly chalk paint. It's like a red, and I painted the entire back of this pizza pan along with the beads in the red with 2 coats of paint. I was making sure to get in all the nooks and crannies of those half beads as well. That way to make sure none of the silver was showing of the pizza pan. And I did 2 coats of that red. And then once the red is done, I will take some of the white Waverly chalk paint and use a stencil brush from Dollar Tree just to distress those beads and even the pizza pan itself. And then, of course, I use my heat gun to get it dry because I have no patience. Then I'm going to hot glue my gnome to the center of that pizza pan where I marked off where it would go. And then I'm going to take some of these snowflake ornaments you get. I think it's a 10-pack from Dollar Tree. And just glued them on this pizza pan randomly. My light kept shutting off on me while I was doing this. My ring light, I think it was getting too hot. And then I also will take like a little sprig of greenery with a holly berry and glue that to this pizza pan as well. And I was going to leave it this way, and then I had hung it on the wall, and it just wasn't suiting me. It was like missing something. I did use a piece of that red and white cord that I had from Dollar General for $1 to glue to the back of this as the hanger, and I just used 2 of the tags I pulled off of stuff to glue on top of it to hold it in place. So the next day I went back over this with some of the green garland you can get from Dollar Tree, and I just went around the edge of this pizza pan, and it did help with the look of it. It was just like too much red or something without this greenery around the edge of it. And I just tacked that down with hot glue every few inches. That way it wouldn't fall off. And cut off the excess. And fluffed up the greenery as much as I could. And there's that one completed. For DIY number 4, I'm going to make some faux gingerbread decor for my kitchen. So the first thing I took was this wooden tree cutout from the Dollar Tree. Excuse me. And the Waverly chalk paint in the color hazelnut, because to me it was close to the color of gingerbread, and I gave this tree 2 coats. And I'm also going to be painting 2 of the wooden snowflake cutouts that you can get in an 8-pack from Dollar Tree. So I'm going to paint those with 2 coats of the hazelnut Waverly chalk paint as well. And once those have dried, I take some fabric paint that I'd also purchased from the Dollar Tree. I had red, white, and green, and I'm going to use that to decorate these pieces with. So for the tree, I'm using the green to do some swags here and there. And then, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to make something like this, it's all about what is appealing to your eye. So then I just took the white puffy paint and I went around the edges of the Christmas tree to make it look like icing. And then I even go over the green parts as well, just to make it look like more of a cookie. And then I will take the red puffy paint and just do some random dots all around the tree. And I do the same thing with the green as well. And like I said, it's all until you're happy with the look of your craft that you're making. And then I set that aside, and then I just use only the white to go over the snowflakes, just to make it look like white icing on those, what do you call those? Not petals, maybe? Snowflake petals? I don't know. You guys understand what I'm saying, though, just to trace the design out. And then I took this gingerbread house wood cut out also from the Dollar Tree, and I decided to give this whole house 2 coats of the hazelnut Waverly chalk paint as well. I did the whole body of the house, but I skipped the windows and the roof line and that for now. Now, you can still see the images that are pre-cut into this once you get that hazelnut paint over that. So that worked out for me because I'm going to use my puffy paint to embellish those. Anywho, I take my white Waverly chalk paint and I paint the roof of this house because it looks like it's snow or icing. And I will also use it just to trace the house and any embellishments I want the house to show. And I also do the windows as well. I took one of those, if you guys have watched my hauls too, I had found those glitter markers at Dollar Tree. So this was just one of those, and they're like paint markers. You got to shake them and press up and down on them for the color to come out. And I just did the inside of the windows with that. It made it look like frosted windows. And then I took my white Waverly paint and then did the borders of those windows with that. And then I will go back over everything I did with the white puffy paint, just to give it more dimension and to look like it's icing. Sorry, you guys, that beeping was yet another email coming through. And then this wood cutout had the impression of like it had Christmas lights on the house. So I did every other Christmas light bulb in green, and then the other ones will be in red. And then it had the trees and the wreath embossed into that wood as well. So that's how I came up with that design, and I just traced it with the puffy paint. And there you see me going in with the red to do the bulbs that I did skip when I did the green. And then I'm making a little bow on the wreath and did some holly spots on it as well. And then I take the white puffy paint and go over anything I paint it with the white Waverly chalk paint, but I just traced it. So that roof line is not going to be completely filled in with the puffy paint. It's just going to get traced around the edges of it all. And there's that tree. It's on my tier tray for my cocoa bar. Looks like a cookie. And there's the snowflakes I stuck together also on that cocoa bar. And then the house I stuck in the center of this wreath that's hanging on my pantry door. Last but not least, DIY number 5, I took the snow globe that I had from the Target Bullseye Dollar Spot or Bullseye Playground. It was $5, and I decided to fill it with this little house ornament I had from Dollar Tree and some of the very tiny bottle brush trees you get, I think, in an 8-pack from Dollar Tree. And one of these white trees also from Dollar Tree's and 2-pack ornament. I had to break off some of the branches to fit it in there. I was going to actually put 2 houses, one gold, one red in here. It was just not working. You know, I expected this DIY to be way easier than what it turned out to be. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't that difficult. It was just having to play with getting that stuff in there and centered correctly and how you wanted it. Because I didn't want to glue anything to the snow globe itself. That way I have options to change this out yearly. So I ended up using a piece of cardboard cut out in the shape of the base of that globe top. And then I cover it with this faux snow, all from Dollar Tree. That piece of cardboard was from a box I had from a shipment I received from Penny's. And I glue everything to that piece of cardboard. I ended up having to remove that gold house, so it ends up just being the red house, the white tree, and the 2 pine tree, bottle brush trees in the end result. And I also, instead of using the flakes of snow, the fake snow, I used the glitter vase fillers in the round balls. They're like styrofoam to fill this up with, but it was tedious. You have to have patience if you're going to do something like this. I will say that for sure. Unless you're okay with gluing everything in, then it will be a lot easier, honestly. I was gluing everything to that poor white tree, and that poor white tree just couldn't handle it. I ended up cutting off that gold house off the fake snow you guys will see here shortly. There I go, filling it with that vase filler I was talking about. And I just added as much as I felt it needed to cover what I wanted it to cover on the bottom of that house once it was all settled down. And I just shook it around to get it all organized. That was a horrible picture of the end result. I will try to get you guys a better one. Well, that was it, you guys. You guys let me know which ones you thought were your favorite. If you guys are going to try any of these and so on and so forth. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. Like I said, I hope you guys stick around. For my loyal subscribers, you guys are amazing. I love you all. We're over 100, and the giveaway will be announced this week on what we're giving away and when the giveaway will be chosen and sent out. So I will talk to you guys soon. I love you all. Have a blessed rest of your day.